बैठे बैठे क्या करे, करना है कुछ काम, शुरू करो नाउ शोइंग लेके मूवीज का नाम। हेलो एवरीवन एंड वेलकम टू येट अनदर फिल्मी एपिसोड ऑफ नाउ शोइंग। आई एम योर होस्ट अभिजीत भट्ट। जिस तरह तमिलनाडु में हिल स्टेशन है ऊटी, ठीक उसी तरह हमारी ड्यूटी टू कीप यू अपडेटेड विद द लेटेस्ट हैपनिंग्स फ्रॉम द वर्ल्ड ऑफ एंटरटेनमेंट। Just like स्त्री में राजकुमार राव had said, Vicky please, वक्त आ चुका है to take a look at this week's hottest release. Well, technically releases होना चाहिए था, मगर क्या करें, that wasn't rhyming so well. खैर, without further delay, let's take a look at what's coming up on this week's धमाकेदार edition of Now Showing. Akshay Kumar, Riteish Deshmukh and Abhishek Bachchan starrer Housefull 5 delivers amusement park-sized laughs with two different endings. Kamal Haasan delivers another fiery performance, making Mani Ratnam's ThufLife worth a watch. Suniel Shetty talks about making Kesari Veer and explains the reason behind his daughter Athya Shetty quitting acting. And a candid chat with Nimrat Kaur about her new show Kull, childhood loss and the life-changing magic of her 2013 film The Lunchbox. Alright, now let's start the show with this week's hottest releases and recommendations. मुझसे शादी करोगी में सलमान खान had rightly said, जीने के हैं 4 दिन, बाकी हैं बेकार दिन। अब भैया ऐसा है, 4 में से 2 दिन तो काम में निकल जाते हैं और बाकी के 2 दिन ट्रैफिक में। So we absolutely understand that you might not get the time to search for something good to watch on weekends, which is why our entertainment and lifestyle editor Tavishi Paitandy is here to guide you to your weekly dose of dhamakedar entertainment. Over to you, Tavishi.
Thank you, Abhijit. Hello and welcome to Now Showing. This time I am back with not one but 2 mega releases. To begin with, get ready for double the madness and maybe double the confusion too, because Housefull 5 has officially docked in theatres. And this time, the comedy cruise comes with a twist you didn't see coming. Or maybe 2. Yes, this is the 5th film in the Housefull franchise and it's going all out. Big cast, bigger scale and a storyline that mixes murder mystery with masala mayhem. Housefull 5 is set on a luxury ship once owned by a now dead billionaire. But here's the catch. Suddenly, multiple men show up claiming to be his long-lost son. What follows? Total mayhem. Lies, disguises, mistaken identities, and the classic Housefull brand of slapstick humor dialed up to 11. This isn't just a comic caper. It's also a whodunit, because someone is playing a dangerous game. The film's cast list reads like a red carpet roll call. Akshay Kumar, Riteish Deshmukh, Abhishek Bachchan, Sanjay Dutt, Nana Patekar, Jackie Shroff, along with Jacqueline Fernandez, Nargis Fakhri and Sonam Bajwa. It's a full-blown Bollywood buffet. And surprisingly, the chaos is controlled. Well, most of the time. Akshay and Riteish lead the pack with their usual comic timing. Nana and Sanjay bring their own flavor of madness, and Jackie Shroff, well, just has to show up to bring in that swagger. But Housefull 5 doesn't stop at just jokes, jokes and jokes. The film's biggest talking point? The climax. Or should we say, climaxes. In a never-seen-before move, the makers have released 2 versions of the film, Housefull 5A and Housefull 5B. Each comes with a different ending. That's right, 2 possible killers, 2 different twists, and 2 very confused groups of audience. Will this risky experiment pay off? Or will it leave viewers scratching their heads, or worse, buying tickets twice? That's, well, for you to decide. The comedy is loud, silly, and unapologetic, just the way Housefull fans like it. The ensemble cast delivers, and the cruise ship setting gives it a fresh vibe. The whodunit angle adds a layer of intrigue too. And the dual climax strategy? It's gutsy, even if it's a marketing gamble. It has people talking. Well, if you're looking for logic, this ship sailed a long time ago. The humor doesn't always land. Some gags feel recycled, and with so many characters and subplots, a few actors end up as comic wallpaper. And while the dual climax idea is novel, it may also backfire if audiences feel cheated by not knowing which version is the real one. Final verdict: Houseful 5 is chaotic, colorful, and crafted for that crowd that loves popcorn entertainment. It's not art, it's an amusement park. And if you go in expecting anything else, that's on you. Whether you watch version A or B, just don't forget your sense of humor and maybe a second ticket. Well, this one's not just a film, it's an event. That's how fans have been describing ThugLife, and rightfully so. Because when Kamal Haasan and Mani Ratnam reunite after 37 long years since Nayakan, expectations don't just run high, they skyrocket. And guess what? ThugLife meets many of them, even if not all. Kamal Haasan plays Rangraya Shaktivel, a gangster operating out of Delhi, and what a character he is. He's layered, unpredictable, morally murky, a man who kills for business but also champions women's education. He's proud of his caste, yet he's fine marrying his daughter into another. He loves his wife but also has a mistress. He calls his own hypersexuality a disease. It's this morally complex canvas that Mani Ratnam paints with both grit and grace. In 1995, during an encounter gone wrong, Shaktivel's gang kills a man, leaving behind two children, Amar and Chandra. Shaktivel rescues Amar. Chandra disappears. Fast forward, Amar grows up to become the crown prince of the gang. But as power corrupts and ambition brews, the story spirals into a full-blown Shakespearean tragedy. The king gets stabbed in the back and rises, well bloodied but unbored, to reclaim his throne. What really works in ThugLife, though? The first half is a masterclass in gangster storytelling. Not just action, drama. Not just gunfire, character. We get into the minds of Shaktivel and Amar. We see how loyalty, fear, and silent power games play out. And yes, there's some classic Mani Ratnam wit, deadpan humor, subtle but sharp dialogues. Now let's talk performances. Kamal Haasan is sublime form. There's a sequence where, drugged and drowsy, he still manages to fight, smirk, and cry all at once. It's like he's saying, I can do this in my sleep, guys. And you believe him. Silambarasan TR playing Amar also shines. His emotional arc is beautifully written and superbly performed. He's intense, effortless, and quietly devastating. But does ThugLife get everything right? Not quite. While the first half crackles with drama, the second half leans heavily into action, and not all of it sticks. The revenge arc feels a bit thin. Mani Ratnam resists going for those whistle-worthy moments that fans expect. That restraint is admirable, but it also leaves the action sequences feeling generic. And the emotional subplot between Shaktivel and Jiva, it leans too far into melodrama, slightly out of sync with the otherwise complex storytelling. ThugLife is a gripping, largely satisfying return for two legends. Kamal Haasan owns the screen. Mani Ratnam crafts a character-driven crime saga with a heart. But does it match up to the legacy of Nayakan? Let's just say, like Rangraya Shaktivel himself, the answer isn't as simple. Watch it for the drama, stay for the performances, and decide for yourself. If you are a fan of Kamal, Mani Ratnam, or just good old gangster drama with emotional heft, this one's worth your time.
Thank you so much, Tavishi, for those recommendations. And moving on, we have an actor जिनकी entry पे लोग cinema halls में शिट्टियां मारने लग जाते हैं. Yes, we are talking about Suniel Shetty, who is joined by Sooraj Pancholi, Akanksha Sharma, and director Prince Dhiman for a candid conversation with my colleague Riteish Chaudhary as they talk about their film Kesari Veer and why they believe this forgotten chapter of history deserves to be told. Sunil Shetty also talks about the joy of becoming a grandfather and daughter Athya Shetty's decision to quit acting.
You, at the, I think, trailer launch said that, Sooraj reminds you of your son, Ahan. And you've worked with his father. Do you have any memories of him as a little boy?
No, unfortunately.
Never met?
I never went on
I
film
do
sets.
have memories of him as a little boy 10 years ago when he was doing Hero. And soft-spoken. A lot of culture, a lot of class, very respectful. So that's the memory that I probably carried through these X amount of years that he went through all the turmoil and, took it with so much grace.
Right.
Respecting the system, respecting everything that people had to say, and stood tall and came out clean and shining, which is the beauty, and that's how you look at people and have that admiration for them then.
So, Sooraj, you've never visited a film set as a child?
As a child, no. Actually, my father, my mother, they never took me to the film sets.
Was there a rule at home to not expose
No rule.
you?
I think they would. I mean, why would they take me there? Would a office-going person take the kid to the office?
No, but I did. Huh?
You did? Okay, but no.
Ahan was with me everywhere. Athya was with me. There were times when I traveled outside of the country.
Right.
And outside of Mumbai, and one kid was with me and one was with Man.
But, coming to the film Kesari Veer, our CM, Devendra Fadnavis, he had such lovely things to say about the film and how, all of us, as a collective, we should really go and watch the film. What does it mean, to get that sort of a nod from the
It means
madness?
since the head of the state has said it, you better do that.
Very true.
No, it means that we are excited and really, really excited because, we had shown him the trailer, teaser, spoke to him about the film. We want to keep a show. He wanted to hear a song. We gave him the song and he was really impressed and he expressed himself and we were happy, very happy, of course. I saw honesty in his face when he said that. He came on stage that day. It was at the Junior Kabaddi Championship National and we were all invited as guests. And he spoke about it for 3 minutes or so.
Sooraj, do you have your, expectations, a lot of expectations pinned on this film? Because, the last two films that, be it Satellite Chakra, I remember I spoke to you at that time and there was Time to Dance, they didn't do as well as expected.
I mean, Time to Dance was on Netflix. It never released in theatres. Satellite Shankar is a beautiful film. At least whoever has seen it really likes that film, Again, it wasn't promoted the way I wanted it to be promoted, but I'm still proud of that film because I really worked very hard. Expectations, of course, any film it feels like our baby, it feels like we really worked towards it. But now I gave my best. I'm very confident that people will appreciate our work, but that's it, but not.
You're not taking too much pressure?
Not so much.
Akanksha, coming to you, I just want to know, how did the film really happen to you? You're not from a film family, you're an outsider, so to speak. How did this film happen?
You mean she's not an Nepo kid? No, I'm kidding.
It didn't happen in just a moment. It took years for this to happen. It's a manifestation of so many years. And I truly believe that it's a blessing from Shiva. And in my very first film, I get to play such a beautiful character who had so many layers to her, who fought for the society, for the people, and who stood up for so many things. And to be able to, embody such a character in your first film, it was a lot of weight on my shoulders, but I'm extremely grateful.
There's a particular frame in the trailer where we see that the film is being hailed as I'm so sorry, I don't remember the exact phrase. It's something like, a war of fates. That's what we see. There are these two groups, fighting. We know the history. Do you think how do you look at it in the current scenario of things? Do you think that people can perceive it as something wrong in today's times?
No, I don't think it happens at all. It's more about the Tughlaqs plundering our wealth, our temples, trying to make conversions. Every religion has tried that in the world. But Hindus and Hinduism has never... We've never enforced ourselves on anybody else and wanted to convert. But if you look at it from our film perspective, it talks about unity. It talks about us coming together. It talks about us fighting the shaitans or the so-called enemies and not allowing them to plunder our wealth, our temples, and believe that they can bring about a change and enforce their way of thinking onto us. So definitely not. And we've been very conscious about all this when we were making the film.
Do you think that this comes at a time when one may perceive by the phrase that, a war of fates, that can be perceived as something that can perpetuate hate, perhaps?
I don't think so. Like in this film, जैसे कि सर ने भी ऐड किया कि we are talking about the shaitans and Tughlaqs. They broke our temples. So कहीं ना कहीं अगर मैं बात करूँ तो today's scenario and the later past is same. Kind of a same, because shaitan tab bhi the, shaitan ab bhi hai, and they are trying to kill our people. Like you saw in the Kashmir. The same. They fight for them. They fight for our people. So I don't think so any changes in this.
So it's a coming together of the people of the country to fight the invaders. So we've not brought anything into the picture, and I don't see any reason where there could be an issue.
On a slightly different note, I heard you speaking very fondly of the fact that you have become a grandfather. How do you see her taking on mother duties today?
I think like a fish to water. Absolutely brilliant. I never thought, every father thinks his little baby is a baby, she will not, will she be able to handle this? But unbelievable. I mean, and I keep telling Mana this every single day. I say, I'm so proud of her. Yeah, the way she's just adapted, the way she's going about things, the way she went about her delivery and took everything in her stride. In a world where everybody wants the comfort of having a cesarean baby because it's comfortable, she chose not to do anything like that and have it naturally.
Natural birth.
And suddenly you realize in hospital, every pediatrician and every nurse saying ki it's unbelievable how this girl has decided that and that's when it hits you as a father ki wow.
Will we see her returning to the films anytime soon?
No, she didn't want to do films. Even then, out of choice, she used to say no. No
Oh.
way. No way. After she did Motichur, she said, I don't want to be a part of this.
She was really good in the film, though.
Yeah, she was very good. She had worked really hard, but no, she was very clear she didn't want to.
Okay, great. Well, on that note, thank you so much to all four of you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
Nimrat Kaur is currently receiving a lot of praise for her memorable performance in the JioHotstar series Kull. Earlier this week, my colleague Riteish Chaudhary caught up with Nimrat and spoke to her about her childhood, her father who was killed by terrorists in Kashmir, her response to questions about marriage, and how the film The Lunchbox changed her life.
Congratulations on all the love coming your way for Kull.
Thank you.
Yes. And, I think this is a day and age, there's so much of scrutiny, People love dissecting everything, taking out, I think, faults, for the lack of a better word, in everything. So at a time when you're getting so much of love and appreciation, does it make it even more special?
I feel very grateful. There's no doubt about it, because people have so much to choose from. Today we have stuff coming out pretty much every second, third day, whether it's online, not just in India, but abroad as well. And we have theatrical releases every Friday. So first and foremost, if people are watching something I'm a part of, over and above everything they have a choice to watch, let's start with that gratitude right there. And then, of course, within that, if one's work is appreciated, people have liked and connected with what I have done in it, फिर वो एक सोने पे सुहागा है. Like that's really the icing on that cake. So feels very good. I feel very encouraged.
Prior to the release of the series, I remember reading one of your interviews where you said that, your character in the show, which is Indrani, and you, the one commonality between the two of you is that you both have this older child syndrome. What's this older child syndrome? So can you please tell
Did
me?
I say older child syndrome? I feel it's just that we are both the elder siblings in the family. And what happens is that some of it is like a bit self assumed, where you feel like you can't make any mistakes, you have to be right all the time. But of course, in the case of Indrani, that is a very different domain.
This thing about being, an older child. You, of course, you have your mother, you have a sibling, younger sibling.
Have a younger
right?
sibling.
Yeah, right. There was a time you very openly spoke about it. You lost your father. At that time, did you ever feel like, okay, I think, I need to hold forth. I perhaps need to, swallow my emotions just for the sake of my mother and my sister?
So I was too young to really be aware of this.
Okay.
I was like 11. So at that age, you don't have the bandwidth, the vocabulary, or the emotional sophistication to really be aware that this is what I need to do and this is what I'm going through. I need to hold for. I think what happened in hindsight to me was I grew up very quickly. I didn't live a normal teenage life. My teenage years were rather challenging because I was dealing with the loss of very, very violent loss of a parent.
Yeah.
A foundational pillar of my life was gone at a stage where I was, I think, developing a personality. I was developing what I would eventually grow up to be. So to lose a pivotal person in your life, not just your father or your hero figure or your mentor, he was everything for me. At that time, as I was developing, an understanding of the world and things, I think I just grew up too fast. I just didn't have the liberty to make the kind of mistakes and the kind of experiments that people do when they're young and when they're in their teens. I feel I got a taste of all of that freedom when I came to Bombay finally, to live my life here, trying to define me from here on in the profession, which is actually quite wild.
Yeah.
It has no set format.
But did you ever harbor any dreams, Nimrat, of maybe joining the armed forces?
Yes. I used to watch my father get ready for work, for the office, and the way his ranks would come on and his shining shoes would be, put on, and just him putting himself together as, as Major Bhupender Singh. For me, it was like, it was a fantasy visual. I used to want to be him. I used to want to put on that uniform, and I had all kinds of dreams to be in the army, very much so, until I realized how difficult it is.
Coming back to your show, which is Kull, like you said, your character is in a lavender marriage, she somewhere also is feeling the absence of maybe motherhood, of a child.
Yeah.
Do you think today also, women, Nimrat, we as women, largely, we feel that, unless we embrace motherhood, we have a child, our roles as women is not fulfilled?
See, there are many layers to this problem. The conditioning is that you are meant to be a woman because you are a vessel for the life that's going to come next. Biologically, evolution-wise, of course, it's in place. Our bodies are meant for producing the next generation, So that's one. The second thing is that sometimes I feel like women, in order to feel complete, because somewhere they're lonely in a marriage or in a family, they don't necessarily want motherhood, and sometimes they don't even know if they are the right personality type for being a mother. But it's to fill a vacuum, and seems like, the easy, most straightforward way out. To have a child can fix many problems. Sometimes people have children to keep a marriage together. In a neighborhood, in a small city, when you have relatives and neighbors hounding you for, the minute you get married, the next question is, when are you going to have your child?
Yeah.
So I feel like all of this should happen for a natural, authentic reason, which is original to you.
I think same goes for marriage. Society often telling you, the moment you hit 30, you're in your 30s, shadi kab karoge? Did you deal
Yeah.
with this back in the day, let's say?
I mean, every girl deals with that,
Yeah.
where the minute there's a little hint that maybe your career is not really going in the right way,
Yes.
or if you're not making the right money, or you're not where you should be or where you perceived you should be, na, शादी कर लो ना और कुछ नहीं तो settle तो हो जाओ. When I was in Mumbai, and I was about 6 or 7 years here into the business, I was doing ad films. It was a paycheck to paycheck life.
Yeah.
I didn't know where my next, paycheck was going to come from. So in that scenario, many times I was told that, till when, as if I was pursuing a hobby and as if it was just something, ki chalo, let her have some fun and then she's going to come back anyway, and live her life properly as she should. Until the Lunchbox happened, I didn't get that validation and that sort of recognition from my well-wishers and my, people in my extended, sort of surroundings. Only that. And why was it taken seriously? Because there was an Irfan Khan in the project. So then I was taken seriously. And then my life interests were taken seriously. That, oh, she's not just having some fun, कि चलो थोड़ी modeling कर रही है, अच्छी लगती है, वो sad में ऐसी लग रही है. हाँ, कुछ-कुछ तो सीख रही है, But शादी का टाइम आ गया, तो वो तो हो गई. तो वो questions तब जाके बंद हुए जब lunchbox करी मैंने.
On that note, Nimrat, thank you so much for this chat.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
काजोल के पति हैं अजय देवगन एंड टाइम फ्लाइज इट वेट्स फॉर नो वन. देखिए ना कितनी जल्दी वी हैव कम टू द एंड ऑफ दिस वीक्स एपिसोड ऑफ नाउ शोइंग. बट वरी नॉट, for we'll see you again same time next week with more film reviews, recommendations and interviews. Until then, this is me Abhishek Bhatt signing off. Thank you so much for watching and stay filmy, stay fabulous.